Made it again. The drive from Latrobe was made in time to begin the show. Kind of a couple minutes late. What's going on, Moan?
Not much. I only have one Hey D question for you, okay? You ready?
Mm-hmm.
How many laws were broken?
You know what's funny? I had a state trooper riding my rear end for a good chunk of it. So you know how that goes? You don't break the laws. And then you kind of get out of the guy's way because then he just goes because the laws don't apply to him.
Police escort is what you're saying. You had all the way to Pittsburgh. Were we 405? Oh my God.
It's 405 now. Who cares?
Hand over fist out here acting like he set a money line for this today, DK. How are you feeling about that, man?
I'm not into this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Everybody's all over me for this. Listen, the reason I go out there, one of the reasons I go out there is to get you real information. You want us to just sit here and talk about whatever and make it up like 99% of everything that's on video everywhere.
Exactly, DK. Tell him we out here doing a good deed, man.
That's right. Let's do another good deed, Moan.
All right, and today we will absolutely crush this freaking bell, and I don't want to hear anybody's lip about how good or bad it was.
Unlike yesterday.
Yeah, you ready? Here we
Yeah.
There it is.
I'm going to start off a good day with some good news. Joey Porter Jr. was out there practicing, looked good.
Good.
Keanu Benton was out there practicing, looked good.
I peeped that on the tweets too.
Weird session, Moan. It was wet because it rained like crazy.
Jeez.
In Latrobe today. I'm peeling off this is the media. They put this thing on your wrist.
You gotta snatch that good, DK.
Look at this.
They're gonna catch us in a Pittsburgh bar, and if you can't snatch that band off, they're gonna think they can take us, DK.
I'm trying to get it off here. They had a strange session because the ground was still very wet.
Yeah.
And the head coach had no mercy on this count. He was just like, I'm just letting them, I'm letting them do whatever. He had the defensive lineman doing agility drills, like hard pivots. And DeMarvin Leal at one point went down. It looked a little scary. He got right back up, though. It was no big deal.
He probably needed a break.
I'll tell you one thing, and this is actually what I wanted to bring up with you to open today.
Okay.
When you watch Leal just in regular drills, or the way you watched him the other night, Friday night in Tampa Bay, there is an athleticism there.
Yeah.
That is not super common. And it's not common on the roster. He's really something. Moan, what's he missing? Because it feels like we should be talking about him as just a default starter, and we're not. Why is that?
The plan, DK, and trust. The plan and trust is what you're missing. I saw it too. You know who he reminds me of, DK? Tuitt.
There's some of that there, but I don't know. Tuitt is just so big. I don't.
But see, in a different frame, like I see that what you're saying, meaning when I say this, he's a guy that understands that he's good enough to get the job done. So all he's doing, DK, is just going, thinking, oh, I'll go 100 miles per hour and I'll show you that you deserve me types of thing. Like I said, he doesn't have a plan, DK, and he doesn't have the trust. His issue is potentially this. He know what he has going on and how good he can be. So he just want to go hit a wall, DK, and knock over every single wall. The game for those guys isn't necessarily about knocking every wall down. His job needs to understand, where do I know my dubs are going to happen? Again, we can see him leaking through on plays on this defense. Say, gosh, he's that close. Again, what's your plan in order to get you to the quarterback or get you those tackles for losses? And then it's the trust factor too. We know you can do these things, but can you actually hold your pocket integrity? And not pocket integrity, gap integrity. Do you have the means to say, you know what? I know I'm not going to make a play right here. So let me just make sure I can hold these offensive linemen so that the linebackers can make a play. That's what I'm saying. One, pick your battles and how you win. And two, when it's not set for you to win, can you be mature enough and can the coaches trust you enough to just simply do those jobs? If you look at the way that defense is still set up, our defensive linemen still hold on to the offensive linemen so that the linebackers can make plays the way Quan Alexander was the other night.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
I think DeMarvin is a guy that still wants to make every single play like he's in high school or like he's in college.
You know what? It's a better observation than you might even know, Moan, because when I look at DeMarvin, including in these drills, like one of them was just a routine get off. And all for anybody who doesn't know what that means, all the defensive linemen and line up literally side by side, and somebody tells them to go, and they go, and it's a race for about 10 yards max.
Yeah.
Okay. And Leal's cleaning up. And at one point, the head coach yells something from the far side away from me, yells out something, DeMarvin Leal, something like that, right?
Yes.
And part of me is thinking, are all these guys really taking this drill as seriously as this kid is? Because it doesn't seem all that super important, especially on the wet grass, but he took it seriously.
He did, DK, and that's because he's trying to prove himself. Like I said, he got to figure out what his game plan is going to be. I think if you watch a guy, let's go for Cam, for instance, because we've seen so much of Cam. Cam shows up sometimes where you're just like, God, how did he do that? That's because Cam is smart enough and has enough reps under his belt that I know I'm going to win this point right here. DeMarvin runs into the wall, DK, expecting every play to be made for him. That's what he's doing. Oh, simply because I'm going 110 miles per hour, I'm supposed to make every play. You know what you do, DK? You wear yourself out in those moments right there. You always heard me kind of say, like, D linemen pick and choose when they're going to rush and not rush, right?
Yep.
They know when they're beat on certain plays. It's been notorious. If you watch the number one players, specifically the D linemen, Myles Garrett is a guy, okay? Aaron Donald is a guy. Cam Hayward is one of those dudes that says, hey, I got this spot right here. That's because they know they're going to win that spot right there, DK, on those certain plays. DeMarvin is trying to win at every spot on every single play. And I'm sorry to tell you guys, that's not how the game goes. Sometimes you have to conserve just a little bit while still playing at a very high rate. It's not about being the biggest bully on the friggin' on the biggest stage every single play. Can I trust you to do your assignment? And when it's time for you to make a play, can you do those two things for me? That's where DeMarvin is lacking from, because the athletic ability is there. He is an ESPN, if I'm not mistaken, top 100 guy. He's a 4/5-star guy, SEC guy. He has every box you need to be checked, but he don't have the mental capacity yet, DK, and he doesn't have the trust just yet.
I mean, yeah, that's what.
It sounds like a coach told you that.
You're so nailing this that
it sounds
almost
like
as if you spent 11 years in the league as a starter.
I'm going behind your curtain. It sounds like a coach has told you that, and that's something that I'm hitting on the head right now.
No, I love it. And as you know, going back to the pre-draft press conference that Mike Tomlin had, I had one question I could ask.
Yeah.
Everybody else is asking. Remember this? Everybody else was asking about trying to get hints about the draft pick and everything. And I just said, what about DeMarvin Leal? Because I want to see, and I think it's important, maybe imperative for the Steelers to see some sort of wild card, somebody just rise up who you hadn't necessarily anticipated. Do you follow me?
Yeah.
And I, when you're talking about surprising people, to some extent, that's going to be Kenny, and that's going to be people who are underestimating what's already here. But on another front, it's going to be someone who just rises up out of nowhere.
Yeah, it is.
And I think DeMarvin is that guy.
I hope so, man, because he's got a lot in his toolbox, DK, as far as his, like I said, his athletic ability. He's a strong kid. He's a fast kid. And it'd be super important for him to really grab on to Cam and to Larry O in these moments right now. Because, again, if it's Larry O and Keanu Benton at the nose, Gosh, can you imagine what it'd be like if you had somebody to spare cam and there was no drop off?
Imagine that. I want to give a special nod today to Steeler Girl. She's on the island of Maui in Hawaii, where there have been, I'm sure everybody's heard, don't need to hear it on this show, but the wildfires there that have killed close to 100 people officially. Apparently there are scores more that are still expected on that front, not to mention the unbelievable damage that's happened to the city of Lahaina. That's part of America, Moan.
It is,
it's very, very far away, but it's part of America.
And I visited there a couple times myself.
Have you really? I didn't know that.
Maui's a very beautiful place. I brag about Maui and saying that's the reason I'm going to learn how to golf, is because it's so beautiful there. And to kind of hear that it's kind of been torn upside down right now and people are in water literally waiting on help. Still got 808, man, praying for you guys' safety and your recovery. Goodness gracious. Because you're literally trapped. They are.
Yeah, there's it's absolutely unbelievable what's occurred out there.
Yeah.
When we come back, the only segment that matters.
That's Hey Moan, DK. Let's do that right. Yeah.
At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now, that connection's stronger than ever. Introducing our all-new state-of-the-art app. Find expert inside reporting and original podcasts. Check live box scores. Track the latest stats. Chat it up with our community of thousands of fans, all in one place. The new app from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Coverage that connects.
And we're back on the Hey Moan segment. Remember how that works? You ask a question, Moan gives the answer. We really overthought this.
Yeah.
You can tell. We have 3 new members so far today. I'm going to show them to you real quick here. That's Rob, it's Ian, and it's Robin. And if you would like to join them, the way to do that is to go to dkps.net/join. Type it into your browser as if it's like right there. dkps.net/join. The process is super simple. It's rewarding. We get a shout back from Steeler Girl who says, thank you all. It means a lot. Yeah, I can't even I can't wrap my head around the scope of the tragedy there in an American state. And wishing the best for Steeler Girl and everybody else who's there. We're going to get started here today with Jim Fairfield, who says, hey, Moan, when TJ's in there, he goes 100% on every play. I think Moan knows that. Yeah, he knows when to tap out, doesn't he?
You know, so this is the thing, Jim, and just everybody in general. Like, I know on certain plays, like I can go about 5 steps and the play is over for me. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it goes. And defenders know that too. Like, TJ's going 100% on every play, but it's also a matter of what he's understanding in those plays too. Like, his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is legitimately 100%, but when the play goes the other way, he's chasing the ball and understanding. What the difference I'm telling you between what DeMarvin has going on is TJ understand what the plan is for him. For a spot player like DeMarvin to earn more trust, to be out on the field, he can't have those plays where if he's going and he's out and he's not making plays. TJ does that to strategically set up plays for himself in those moments right there. Again, it's a matter of, I promise you guys, it's deeper than what the way I'm explaining it, just simply because there's a feel throughout the game and what you know is your opportunities to strike. And I'm not sure if DeMarvin has those opportunities in his mind to when he's going to strike. When I tell you strategically, guys know which spot on the field they need to play in order to make plays, DK. The great ones do this too. Like, it really does boil down to pick your spots and where you're going to go and close out plays. DeMarvin just got to get to understanding how his body and his reps are going to, kind of shake out in his league of the NFL.
Pops and William and Darren all come in reminding me
crazy
to do the Get-Go read, which is great. I think they're Get-Go secret agents. At the Get-Go Cafe and Market, quality happens to be at the core of every menu item. 3 expert chefs fine-tune every detail so that every sub, burger, salad, wrap, drink, and app is crafted for craveability. Order your favorite entry at the Get-Go Cafe and Market today. better believe it. By the way, we make light of the whole three chefs thing and whatever, except that we've met them. Okay, this is not like something. There's some kind of line that we're just told to read here. They exist. They try to find stuff from everywhere, and they're constantly attempting new things. So if you think like you were in there a couple of years ago or something and you saw it and you thought, maybe not for me, try it again. There's always something new here.
No doubt, DK.
Michael Duda asks, hey, Moan, any concerns about George Pickens getting flagged for push-offs this season?
Yeah, that's something that's got to be reeled in, especially when we hit the regular season. Teams trying to find any kind of edge they possibly can when it comes down to getting the ball back or putting negative yards on you. We've seen that be a trend of his. I would say this. I don't know if we saw it too many times in the preseason game when a whole lot of reps for him. But if he resorts back to those things and he's not working on them in practice, then there's going to be something that comes up. Just because I feel like on social media-wise, he's a known mark when it comes down to the extended arm push-off. Yes, absolutely.
Lots of people excited about Keanu Benton, and they should be. The film popped on Friday night. Okay, this wasn't one of those where the coach says something nice to us in Tampa after the game, and then you look at the film and go, "What the heck was he looking at?" This was not that.
Yeah,
This was the opposite.
There was another comment earlier from Swan 269. Hey, Moan, do you think after seeing Benton against Tampa, he can be some real D-line help for us now and in the future? Same goes for him. Again, Loudermilk, I think, has made it more tough now for Fehoko as far as those guys being around and getting reps too. It'd be awesome, DK, to keep them all, have them all, and actually use them all too. But the new young guy has to get to a point to where, again, trust and assignment is going to be his biggest issues moving forward. I'll say this because his name has come up numerous times in the chat, DK. We saw his big body lean forward, disrupt the run path for the running back, and the quarterbacks had a huge moment, DK, on that fourth down play. I was hyped watching it. I played offensive line all my life, DK.
You were happy to see somebody beaten.
Because I heard you say, because as you said at the beginning of the show, you drive out the Latrobe to put eyes on this. And if I'm not mistaken, about 2 weeks ago, maybe 10 days, DK, you said what? I don't know if he's going to be able to jump out on film. And he did. And that's the reason why we have preseason games too, right?
Good. I say this all the time. I'm happy to be proven wrong by somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The opinions that get given, the assessments, and this is true of anybody, whether it's me or somebody, any of the thousands of people sitting in the stands behind me or sitting on the grass hillsides, we see something once and we share it with somebody. It doesn't mean that it's a definitive thing. I told you guys last week I didn't like Calvin Austin dropping a couple of balls. Do you think he's going to get cut? No, he's not going to get cut.
And what did Calvin do in the game, DK?
Hey, he did okay. Scott Sansom says, first live chat, hey, Moan, who was the toughest guy to block that you ever went against?
Gino takes the cake every single time. Just because the leverage, again, I would say this time and time again, he was Aaron Donald before Aaron Donald became a thing with what he was doing across the league. And then Aaron Donald came and the short D tackles took over. It has to possibly be, it has to be him, hands down. Geno Atkins.
Geno is the guy.
Yeah, he is the guy. And there's other ones that made impact too like that, but definitely Geno.
I take this back as Josh Jenkins is actually the guy. Comes in with a $5 contribution.
Shout out to you, Josh.
After which, Josh sends a thing that says, hey, DK and Ramon, has Kenny's first-year exposure let teams strategize, meaning against him, or will the sophomore slump hit him with new QB challenges? I'm wondering how much to take from last year's performances. It's a good way of looking at it because we all seem to be wanting to look just to last Friday's performance and say this is it.
Yeah.
But it's a cumulative body of work, isn't it?
It really is, man. And that's the thing about it. There's this quarterback that used to play in Pittsburgh. Golly, DK. War number 7.
I heard of him.
You remember that? Roughless,
something like that. I had it cleared in spell check.
We'll just call him Ben. This dude Ben used to wear number 7 in Pittsburgh. Roethlisberger is his last name. He famously came out and said, don't ask me to judge a quarterback. Why, DK? Give me 3 years.
3 years.
Give me 3 years. 3 years mean we got the rookie year out of the way. And Kenny with what, 7 and 9? 7 touchdowns, 9 interceptions?
Mm-hmm.
So sophomore slump, hell, let's get past that real quick, DK. The interceptions touchdown ratio, year 2 should be a big growth year for Kenny. And then the league will readjust to Kenny again.
Yeah,
that's
they
where
will.
That's where we're at. So I think we're still in the bubbling phases of what Kenny Pickett is. Don't let these Joe Burrows and Patrick Mahomes, and that's an abnormal trajectory and pathway for quarterbacks. Would we love to have that? Yes. But let's downshift a little bit until Kenny fully gets what the league is going to do to him under his belt.
Rick Pietrangelo is one of the many people who come in with Kendrick Green questions. Can I?
Oh, man, please do this one, DK.
People, let the Kendrick Green stuff go. Okay, nobody who was actually there was ever taking the Kendrick Green thing seriously. The reason, if it sounds like this is on my mind, is I was just having this conversation with someone on the sideline. Like, did anybody actually like report this as if it's a serious thing, meaning the fullback thing? No, man, it was the head coach trying to find a way to get everybody to lighten up and send Kendrick Green to talk to reporters. Do you really think they were going to put the ball in the hands of a center who can't even snap in the most pivotal points of a game, like being down close to the other team's goal line or 4th and 1, when you have Najee Harris on your roster? What did you think was going to happen? You know, this was a training camp narrative, a classic case of it, and one of Tomlin's better ones. What you saw Friday night in Tampa of Green is exactly what he is, which is a not good NFL center. Is that, if that sounds mean, believe me, it isn't. I think the world of the guy. He's terrific. He's a great kid.
DK, and this going to segue into something I just started real quick, though, too, because a lot of fuss is made about players this time of the year. And I kind of said something the other day. I was just like, man, it's tough for me to really latch on the guys in the preseason because I really only want to worry about the 53 at the end of the day. That sounds terrible to say, DK, make it seem like I'm a bad teammate and being that. But Luke, bring this up. Hey, Mon, were you ever close with the player who got cut? If so, how hard was it to see them go? I tell the famous stories about me and Guy Wimper and our families being at Niagara Falls on cut weekend. And Guy gets a call while we're visiting the friggin' falls together. Okay, and it was crushing. Me and my wife go back to the hotel and they go back to Pittsburgh. It's like, oh my God, like that really just happened. And you know what happened the next week, DK? We talked about it and we moved on. Now, I kind of want to tell you guys that too, like these preseason crushes that you will have and I will have also. I think we all have guys we're rooting for. When that 53 in game 1 opens up, y'all, you're going to move on. And that's kind of the way the game is too. Like I still have relationships and friends that have gotten cut before, DK. Seeing Kelvin Beachum leave was tough. Seeing Cody Wallace not be on the team was tough. Seeing Willie Colon get cut, tough. But guess what has to happen, DK? What are any coach going to tell you about the NFL? That train stops for who, DK?
I believe it's nobody.
So
maybe TJ. I would stop the train for TJ.
Oh, TJ gonna get a retirement ceremony, okay?
I'd rename the train after TJ and stop it.
And I'm not being insensitive, DK, and I know you aren't either, but Kendrick Green needed to have a good camp at what position? At center or guard, the same way Kevin Dotson does.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. Jacob says, hey, Moan and DK, I know CA3's had some mistakes in camp, but do you guys see a world where he overtakes Allen Robinson for starting slot? Starting when you're talking about those wide receivers there, Moan, really doesn't mean a whole lot.
No.
Because they're so interchangeable. All you have to do is watch between snaps, the number of guys running on and running off the field. You can label somebody a starter. They're out there for the first snap of the game, and then they're off for the right.
No, so true. You know what that goes to the stat line.
You guys were the only ones who were consistent in the huddle. You and the quarterback. That's it. Everybody else is constantly
100%, man. And I look at Calvin Austin and Allen Robinson being two totally different pieces on this offense as far as who's going to start in front of who. They can go 5 wide one game and Calvin Austin be in there. They can do two tight ends and Allen Robinson can be in there. Or truthfully, they can go an extra offensive line and start in DK.
771 members now. Now, we dropped. Oh, she says all time. She's nodding and doing this.
Man.
Okay, 771 members all time. 723 active now. We are 277 away from merchandise. So a little bit of a drop. That kind of stuff happens whenever there's big gift subscription buys the previous month, and then not all of those people renew. That's how it goes backward, and it did a little bit here. So we still need to get 1,000 by what was it, the 49ers?
Yeah, 49ers game, season opener, 100%. DK, we can get that, man. Absolutely, we can get that.
I think so. It doesn't seem impossible.
Yeah, it's not impossible at all, especially with the rate that we're growing. Appreciative of you guys for doing that too. Absolutely.
Mr. Wood here says teammates getting cut is difficult for sure. It has to be. Kendrick Green needs to figure out a way to play with better technique, or perhaps we're still talking about Kendrick Green.
It's a good topic though, DK.
I know it's a hot topic. It's an interesting topic.
Yeah.
This is the classic case of when you get about 2 weeks, 3 weeks into the season, and you remind people that in the middle of August, we were all obsessed with Kendrick Green. It seems crazy. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
There's so much real stuff that's there. Bob says, hey, Moan, was there a Steelers jersey that you hated? I'm meaning a type of jersey. Like, oh, man, does this Bumblebee uni make me look fat?
Great question, Bob. No, we all loved all the alternative jerseys. 100%. I don't think guys love the cream colored pants that came along with the Bumblebee block numbers that we had out there. It didn't matter to me because I looked at it like college in a sense. Like, gosh, I love the alternative stuff like that. I saw somebody ask a question a second ago. Do you think we'll ever go into gold jerseys? I never want to see us go in gold jerseys. That just looked too much like mustard or something, man. That would blow my mind.
Well, what you're leaving out here about the Bumblebees is that all you did was win in those things.
We did.
More often than not, win big.
Between that and the color rush.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the color rush too. And these were the 500-yard games came in these ridiculous uniforms. So like you guys were probably looking at those things thinking, man, there's some style here.
There's some stuff going on, man. Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, Ben Cohen wants to know what's taking so long for a fight to break out at camp, and what does that say about the chemistry of this roster? I think it's a fair question.
That's a real good question, Ben.
Is it good or bad?
I think it's good because I will tell you this, Coach Tomlin probably laid down the law and told them there would be none of that in these camps. And this is why, though, too. I think the team is young in spots where it needs to grow up. So you fighting in practice does no good when you're trying to get better. And I say this in that sense. Coaches don't want to waste reps and time. It takes a lot of time to break up those fights, a lot of time to get back to practice. And I just honestly think it's just a huge waste of time when it comes down to fighting in camp. I think everything is fine. I actually just saw where who was it? Dan Moore said, no, we're gelling fine together. Love that.
Yeah. More Kendrick Green.
I had a good one, DK.
Steven, I just answered Steven real quick on a news thing. Any word on Larry O? No, he was not practicing today. Cam Hayward, I should have mentioned, kind of significant earlier, although Cam was just sick. He wasn't hurt. And he was held out a couple weeks ago. So yeah, that's not a thing here. Robert Codling wants us to move on from Kendrick Green. So do I. Go ahead, Mo. If you find yours.
Yeah. I got one, man. This is pretty good because this is one of the more positions we need to be talking about from Swan.
Oh, here we go. Now, this is significant. This matters. Kendrick Green doesn't.
No doubt. Swan goes, hey, Mo, of all the LBs, which pairing will be the most productive?
That's not easy. Go ahead, Mo.
It ain't easy. No, Cole Holcomb and Quan can be good together.
Yeah.
Landon. Can you imagine Landon Roberts and Quan together? Can be electric.
It'd be merciless.
Swan, my dream of this trio of linebackers up the middle between Cole Holcomb, Quan Alexander, and Landon Roberts is this. Stay healthy.
I got that.
Stay healthy.
My idea of a rotation for ILBs, at the moment, open to change because I don't believe we've still seen in a camp setting or whatever the very best of Cole Holcomb.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that respectfully. I'm not going to sit here and judge him on a camp performance the way I will a rookie. He has the history. He has film, and he's not old.
No.
If you put him out there and you just expect him to get sharper and sharper, as time goes by, he might work his way up into this. But for right now, I want to see Quan Alexander. Oh, boy. Okay.
We're in 26.
We'll see about that.
I know, but I love it, though, DK. But it also goes here to answer Ryan's question, too, that I had starred, DK. Hey, Mon, what's the biggest thing you want to see from Quan Alexander moving forward? He definitely has to be a pleasant surprise. Yes.
In pass coverage.
Oh, my goodness. Pass coverage is big for him where he has to thrive.
All of them.
But this also, DK, the best ability he can have for his career moving forward.
Yeah, well, that would be availability. Yeah. And then when you get to the depth of this, the other guy that I want to make sure doesn't get left out of this is Mark Robinson.
Okay.
And the reason for that is you can have certain alignments, I believe, or certain situations where you know the other team is going to run the ball. You know they have no interest whatsoever. I want Mark Robinson out there because he's the guy who can be a missile, who can go after the running back, maybe pop the ball loose.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's a little bit different. So I think it's interesting. You know, let's put it this way. It's been a long time since the ILB room's been interesting.
It is, man. And DK, we got to answer to the fights, too. Shout out to Joshua Graham for listening to Cam, man. Go listen. I promise you, I'm sure some good stuff. But Cam admitted on his last episode on his podcast that he's been told directly not to start fights in camp. I can believe that.
Yeah, but Cam's also not the only one who could start one.
Cam also is the one that agitates a good bit too, or gets the crowd going. He
is, but you know, when you look at, Landon Roberts has been in people's faces. Okay,
has he? Who's barked back at him then?
Nobody. That's the point.
I got to talk to my guys. I got to talk to my guys, DK.
Yeah, that's the point here. Randy comes in with a hey Moan. He says, is having the regulars in for a series or two during the preseason enough to get them, and that includes you and your 11 years, ready for the season?
Yeah, it is.
3 games now, not 4. You had 4.
DK, yeah, I know, and they have that week in between regular season and final cuts too, right?
Yep.
What I would say is this is always going to be the case. The getting ready for the season always comes while playing games where wins and losses are actually counted. Any coach will tell you this, and I've said it time and time again. You have to treat the season like a roller coaster or an airplane that continually ascends. You can lose one game, win one, lose one, win, lose. You want to continually be ascending up when it comes down to how you plan out a season. 4 preseason games, some coaches will tell you, probably wasn't enough anyway. And then the way camp has kind of transitioned into 1 practice a day and you don't have 2 a days, you're always going to be doing this right here as the camp starter. What you don't want is this or a straight nosedive because you lost your franchise quarterback or something like that.
Tony comes in with, hey, Moan, how did you deal with trying to conserve energy when you thought the game might come down to the last drive? Did you ever conserve energy during a football game?
You have to be able to. And in conserving energy, too, is this. And I don't want to make it seem like you're not straining. There is a level of strain. But I know this. If we have to pace ourselves down the field, we got 60 yards to go, there are certain things that have to be done in that moment. And by pacing yourself, you do this. You're more cognizant about what you're doing. Instead of just trying to be, we got to go. Like, there's a difference. Controlled chaos is what I mean by when I say conserve. Like, there's chaos to where it's 4th and 1 and we got to have it. Hey, we go all out. Screw everything that happens. And then there's a controlled chaos, DK, to where you say, get them done, block them, let the play happen, and then we move on. There's a fine balance, y'all. I'm going to say this and you're probably going to laugh. It's like ballet, I guess, DK. Where it looks so effortless, but then you realize there's a lot of trauma on their feet and digits and ankles and stuff like that. It looks graceful. Our stuff looks stupid, dumb, but it's so much finesse in it.
The best thing about this show, I have to say this now, is that if you were to have said to somebody, like let's say to a reporter like me or whatever, okay, and I go and I write it into a column that you want to learn to pace yourself and you want to learn to conserve energy, it's the kind of thing that could tick off a less educated fan.
No.
Okay. What do you mean conserve energy? You're being paid billions of dollars. The game is tied. What are you doing? Whatever. But when you come on here and you hear the man explain it, who's been out there for 11 years, it kind of makes sense. You know, it's just one of the many values to the Ramon Foster show. Darren Watt asks, what do you guys eat at halftime?
It's usually orange slices.
Why?
Bananas in there for the potassium. That's a quick sugar rush with the orange slices. There's Gatorade bars and protein bars. And honestly, just a lot of water. I think a lot of people think we drink Gatorade at halftime. It's mostly water or Gatorade with the Gator lights in it, the salt in it to help hydrate you even more. Put
most
sodium back in.
Most of the eating happens. In fact, almost all of the eating happens after the game.
Yeah.
There's a spread that's set up outside the locker room, home and road.
And this is funny too. It's crazy you mentioned it because we had it was written a few years back, and we had a guy come in the middle of the season, DK, about effort, right, and about practice etiquette, and we got killed on social media because of it, because we said similar things about we're in the middle of the season trying to win games and stay healthy for the weekend, and we got a guy coming in trying to go 100 miles per hour on a Wednesday. I'm not sure if you remember that conversation when we had years back, but guess what, DK? To try to earn your keep on the team on a Wednesday during the season, how realistic is that, DK?
Oh, yeah.
It's not. We worry about one day and one day only, and that's game day. And on game day, everything is channeled to making sure you can win. It's fascinating, DK. I'm glad we can verbally say this.
Our friend Joshua Dobbs comes in with a question. Before I read it, Josh, you put up something political earlier, and you almost got blown to smithereens. Zero politics. Don't care what side it's from. Hey, Moan, is at least 8 sacks from Nick Herbig with how much TJ pulls himself. Nothing against Marcus Golden. Herbig looks like a real steal. Are we getting into 8 sacks territory for Nick Herbig? He might have 20 snaps a game.
I know.
You know?
Let's set the line at 4 or 5. 5. Let's set the line at 5.
I would think you would take 5 sacks from your number 3 OLB guy.
Yeah, let's set the line at 5, Josh. 8 is it's a big get. But he does look good. Y'all know I am team Nick Herbig all the way. I hadn't hit that whatsoever. And if he does sneak somebody, yeah, I'll take that. I see Koken said hammer the over on 5.
Yeah.
Hammer the over then, but I'm willing to sit at 5.
Yeah, but you can say that, Cody, but the 5 is you have to count the snaps.
Yeah. Okay.
And the fact is, if TJ and Alex play 17 games each, which is your optimal circumstance, obviously, you're not going to have any third linebacker, third OLB guy.
Yeah, and I see Josh double backs and says this. He said he had only 15 snacks or something on Tampa with a sack and a half.
And that was with TJ not playing.
Yeah, and that's also with guys who aren't starter quality linemen. Let's say that too, DK. We can be honest about his performance amongst his peers. It was doggone good for sure.
Yeah, and it's preseason, and let's, this question comes from an L. Timmons. Oh no, I'm kidding. It's from D Pets. He says, "Hey Moan, have you ever puked in a game or gotten puked on?"
Oh no, never did. But
you were never out there with LT, huh?
No, I saw it happen and said, "Bro, what the heck is wrong with you? We got to play right here." But I've never actually puked in a game. I'm not a big puker in general, and seeing somebody throw up, not really. No, we didn't really do that.
LT's projectile vomit could actually be considered a weapon that could be loaned to Ukraine at this point.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it could be. Here's a good one too, DK. Oh, go ahead.
He just Q comes in and says, "I feel like this team is the most disciplined." Is the most disciplined it's been in recent years. I believe that alone will help us win those games we always lose but should win. Moan, I have to say that this opinion here is beginning to mushroom a little bit with the nation, because I'm starting to see these questions like, is this the most likable team? Is this the most whatever? And of course, the implication there is that you guys, not you specifically, but that you guys in general were the renegades and not likable because you had AB and Lev and everything. Please address this one.
The discipline is always there. I will say this. Maybe there's a little bit bigger govern on what's getting in and out, and maybe they learned from our era, but the era, of like discipline has never left. There has been people, and the reason my mouth dropped when I saw this is Q, a lot of people don't tag Coach Tomlin as a disciplinary type of guy. So the fact that you're noticing or seeing certain stuff makes my mouth drop right there, DK. That's never left.
Players coach, right?
Wow, bro. What year is this?
Just saying. James Lawson says, what about Isaiah Loudermilk? I've got something not nice to say.
Please, is it that he's going to get shown up by somebody else or what?
Look, he does things in drills and he does things that impress people internally, including in practices. It's got to happen on the field. Okay, he did some good things the other night in Tampa, but it's got to happen consistently on the field, and there's got to be impact, and it's got to be more than just run stopping. Everyone knew he could run stop coming out of college. That was the thing that had Kevin Colbert so excited. The very night they drafted him, Colbert was talking about it. But you got to do more. You got to do more on that DL, or you're just another guy. That wasn't mean.
No.
It's just something I actually was – that had that thought cross my mind just today in watching the D line go through drills there,
Speaking of another guy, I think it's good to answer this. I think it's Daniil that asked this, and it's pretty solid because we ain't talked about Trice in a while because he's out of the fold. But we'll answer this one for folks that don't know how the IR go, I guess. And it goes, hey, Mo, what's the deal with Trice? Does he stay on payroll as he rehabs? How does that work? That works exactly as you just said. You go to IR and you work out and you rehab. If he's having surgery, all of those things take care of. He doesn't count against the 53. He's an injury reserve guy. And yes, he does get paid.
He gets paid.
Around. Yes.
Yeah, he gets paid. That's the biggest difference between someone like Trice getting hurt and then the other night, Chappelle Russell.
Yeah.
The poor guy goes down and he gets what's called waived/injured and, goodbye. And you're on your own.
But his thing is he does get an opportunity to go to IR. He can go to IR, but his salary becomes split in that moment right there. He doesn't get full salary. Corey Trice gets full salary of his rookie deal because he was a draft pick under contract with the Steelers.
Well, they want to keep him.
Yes, and they will.
100%. Yeah, they're not about to cut him. It's a selfish motivation. You keep the player around because you believe in his future.
Yep. And speaking of future, I got one too, DK. Yes, Danny Bleer. That's a good one.
Seems like this offense had a lot of personal options. He's personnel options. Does that inhibit the Steelers' ability to be great at any one thing? I guess it's the whole if you have X number, then you have none.
Yeah.
Type of doubt.
Yep. Jack of all trade, master of none, right? Yes.
Yep.
So, Danny, great question right here. This is what preseason is all about, too. And just honestly, OTAs and minicamp, too, is to figure these types of things out. Y'all know, like during our big era of scoring points, DK, we may have had a rotation of 6, maybe 7 plays with different variations in it.
This is so true.
It's not overly complicated. You just put more lipstick and makeup on the play to make it look better and do certain tricks for you. Those things that you're seeing happening with Calvin Austin or with Anthony McFarland even too, because those running back reps have to get taken care of and they have to be divvied up too. It's good to have options is all I will tell you, Danny, in those situations. But the bread and butter will be that. And it honestly was fascinating too to see Matt Canada say this. The same things we were running last year is what we did on Friday night. And maybe it's a little bit of lipstick on what he's put into his play calling sheet this year, too. We will see how it all hash out. But you don't ever take 30 plays into a weekend. You take 5 or 6 core plays and you rotate those around like a figure 8.
James Lawson says the media narrative of lack of discipline is that Tomlin hate. What media? What media ever says that? Like actual media.
Well,
people, reporters who cover the team. That's media.
Yeah. There's certain
you never hear it.
Certain people that says stuff in public space, like okay, Terry Bradshaw, right, and it carries a little bit more weight because he hadn't been inside that locker room probably since he left.
Nope.
Okay, like let's think about that. It's
this
like
my point.
Somebody telling you about your home and they've never seen your house.
Never been to the door.
So you can say those types of things from a cozy studio.
Yeah, I don't even know what is first take. James says first take. I don't know what that means.
The show that was on ESPN. Again, they don't visit the locker room.
They don't come to they don't see them. Why does anybody care what somebody says when they don't even cover the team?
And
I don't get that.
And you know what
how many reporters? Can I just throw this in?
Go ahead, absolutely.
You know how many reporters flew to Tampa?
How many?
To cover the preseason game? Actually, I'm going to put this into the chat here. Let's see how many people can guess. How many reporters do you think flew from Pittsburgh to cover the preseason game in Tampa?
And let me say this too. There's one guy I know that I've seen walk inside of that locker room, and I got to give him credit, Stephen A. And that's because he's a Steeler fan, and he's actually done stuff around Pittsburgh and said stuff and actually walk inside of the building. Not just the RC things, but he'll let you know exactly what it was. And maybe he has a relationship with Coach T too. But he's one of the few national guys, DK, if we want to go there, that I've seen kind of come into the building. It ain't many that walk into the building. And you know what they do when they do decide to walk into the building, DK? You tell me if I'm lying. Hey, Coach Tomlin. Oh, they want to hug it out and laugh and have a good time. They don't want to say what they're going to say on their networks whenever they walk inside our buildings. Never been the case.
The correct answer is 4. The correct answer is 4, unless I'm missing somebody, because I don't count the people who from KDKA because they were the rights holder with the game. They had to broadcast it. They had to have reporters there. It was us, Post-Gazette, the Trib, and one other outlet. That's it. That's
4.
It. Yeah.
The 4
and people have this idea that there are a million people that cover this team. Okay. And 4 flew down there for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and you can't count KDK. They have to broadcast the game. That's not going there to cover it for media purposes. That's going there because, again, they're a rights holder for it.
Yeah.
But this idea that, wow, there's just so many, and then everybody you read everywhere is someone who covers the team. They're not.
They're on assignment is what those situations are. And if you ever hear them pronounce,
or they're just not there at all. But go ahead.
If you hear them pronounce players' names and they do it all wrong, if they're calling me Raymond instead of Ramon, they're on assignment. DK.
Luke wants to know why nobody's talking about Levi Wallace. Is he playing well? You haven't heard that much about him. You shouldn't. He's a known commodity. What do you this is the time of year when everyone wants to talk about, Kendrick Green. And I see a bunch of questions about Spencer Anderson, the 7th round offensive lineman. This is that time of year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I thought this was good right here, DK.
Nice.
4 reporters and only 3 pair of DK shoes.
That was a driving trip. Totally. Yeah. I'm never going to hear the end of that one, apparently. how many more flip-flops is all that. That is good stuff.
Hey man, y'all, we got over 600 in here right now, man. You people are awesome. I just need you guys to know that, man, on a Tuesday, DK.
That's pretty impressive. Sergio gets today's last question. Says, hey, Moan, who's going to be on the roster by the end of the year? Is Kevin Dotson or more? Also, do you think that Steelers would be getting Chase Young at some point?
I love to have Chase Young.
So would I, but
I would. But that's next year's problems.
Every indication is that's not going to happen. Meaning he's not leaving where he is.
They didn't pick up his 5th-year option, but they may still have the option. No, maybe franchise, and we'll see because they're under new management too. Y'all got to remember this too. I'd almost guess though between Dotson and Dan Moore, between those two, you may get both still. I don't think Kevin Dotson did a lot to hurt himself again.
But I mean, he needs to also help himself.
But if we're looking at those numbers, man, I can see Kendrick Green being out. All of the young guys we don't really count into the fold. I can see him hanging around unless he just want to go. I'm holding on to both, DK.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, I can't guess that one.
JPJ debut looming. Don't forget that the most significant thing that happened today is that Joey Porter Jr. was back at practice. Keanu Benton was back at practice. Cam Hayward, who'd been sick, was back at practice. So any concern that anybody had about Porter and or Benton having some sort of significant injuries, no, they don't. Ryan McKinney says, hey, DK, do those national media people ever reach out to you information? No, why would they? You know what answer they'd get?
Get it on your own.
Yeah, come and do the damn job yourself.
Get it on your
There's
own.
nobody who would do that, Ryan. It wouldn't make any sense at all. They know where Pittsburgh is. They know where Latrobe is. They can come find out for themselves. And by the way, the same is true in the reverse. Not that anybody local would ever need that. All right, Moan, we all good?
We're good, man. Y'all good. Tell them what to do, man. You just put it back up there, DK.
There it is. DKPS.net/join. Is where to become a member. We had a few new ones today. We appreciate every single one of them. And remember that as far as our roll call goes here, we're at 771 all time, but 723 active, which means that we're 277 away from merch. And the goal is to have it by the 49ers game.
Let me sell them real quick, man. DK, it's 99 cents, which means you give one of these, you will get a valuable penny back, okay? I've held this single dollar in here for so long, and you know what? Who else is a member? Me, myself. I actually am joined in, too, to my own show. So, hey,
I'm one of those little green plastic penny things at like 7-Eleven.
I'm self-invested, man. Absolutely, DK.
All right, guys, let's do it again tomorrow.
Let's do it. Good people. Great show today, man. Y'all awesome.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
It was real good.
Media.
Yeah.
What's that?
This is hilarious. Leal always come through with some truth serum. Come on, $1.05 taxes. That's good.
I don't know. I think that depends on where you are and whether or not you consider this show to be a luxury or a necessity in life, right?
Yeah, you're right. And we got to figure this one out too. Is Josh in-law a member now? My brother-in-law, I got to check on him. You're 100% correct. Cause he dove in here the other day, DK. Got to see if we can get him to be a member too. He will.
Says, notice DK hasn't left town since Dolly left all his secrets. I was out of town like an hour ago.
Yeah.
For your information, Latrobe is not close to Pittsburgh. I just happened to make it back here in a great big hurry.
You're right,
Rich. You're all gonna just keep this going here.
They are. If she's just peeking from behind the camera, man, she's probably at the uncle tables right now getting those red Solo cups off the table and stuff. Yeah, that's probably what's going on.
Yeah, Michael, we can talk about Hakeem Butler. I would like to have seen him be a little bit more visible as well. We can do that, some of that on tomorrow's show here. We appreciate all of the memberships come in, especially the gift memberships, because giving them out to people in all likelihood you haven't even met, that's pretty cool.
That is awesome, man. Definitely, DK.
So Mike Jones says, did Steve Smith have anything to say about the wideouts? I had something to say about Steve Smith. What was he doing wearing Steelers stuff?
Couldn't be me, man.
I thought that was odd, man. What was he? He's out there on a practice field catching balls from the quarterback wearing Steelers stuff. I don't make it sound like the stuffy whatever, but I was just like, what? You're not a Steeler.
Gotta sell the bit, DK. Gotta sell the bit.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. All right, Bone. We'll do it again tomorrow.
We will do it again tomorrow. Hey, y'all be good. Peace, good people. Fish and trout.